Oh no, come on, baby. There it is. All right, going live. Check Wimkid if you would not mind, sweets. Libby?
We're good.
I can't hear you, babe. Go ahead, try it again.
We are good.
Okay, thanks. Sorry.
Can you turn?
Yeah, in a second.
Yeah.
In a second. Got a lot going on. Go ahead and say it again. What's up?
We are hot. My earphones are really low again for some reason.
This happens all the time. So, no big deal. Now?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. It just, it happens. Welcome to the Donut Fremy Show, everybody. Good to have everybody here in the house. We got a lot going on. Leroy's in the house tonight. I'm in the house tonight, obviously. Olivia's here. Yep. I'm ready to rock and roll.
So is Yenny.
Who cares? That cat's getting old. She's very high maintenance. She just always wants more and more and more. And
sounds like a typical woman.
yeah, I was gonna say that.
I beat you to it.
Let's bring that down a little bit. There we go. All right, everybody. Sorry for the pre-show. We were a little bit behind. We're talking about the election tonight, talking about FEMA, talking about Iran. Are they all the F-35s gone from Israel? Are they all destroyed? Is everything gone? Is it bleak? Is Israel going to go under because they don't have F-35s? Oh my God! Ah! No, the answer is no. Everyone relax. Israel's not that stupid. We'll be back. Step into a Wimkin.
It's Red Friday, RED Friday, which stands for Remember Everyone Deployed. The movement designed to honor veterans and deployed U.S. troops by wearing a red shirt every Friday. As simple as that may be, Red Friday is a great way to back those who serve our country. Go to DUMShow.com and search for Red Friday to get your red on.
What's up, everybody? It's Ryan Weaver. I am on the Don't Unfriend Me show, otherwise known as The Dumb Show, with host Matt Spear. You guys can find the show at The Dumb Show on social media or TheDumbShow.com.
You know, we need
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
What is going on, Don't Unfriend Me Nation? Matthew Spear from the Don't Unfriend Me Show. Hope everyone's doing well. We're going to get right into...
I don't see our goal for the evening.
I know, I'm working on it.
Okay.
You know, it's like, come on, one person. What do you want? I'm getting it. Liv, you can talk about the goal as soon as I get this thing turned on.
Okay.
And it's not up yet. Just wait. I know. I already know. Don't need to tell me. I got it under control. It's going to do its thing in a moment. Leroy, how are you doing, buddy? What's going on with Leroy Jenkins?
What is going on? I am great. Actually, it was a good week. Work is keeping me busy. I think you can probably speculate as to why. And I'm making significant progress in my project, so I'm happy. It was a good week.
That's wonderful. Good. I'm glad everything is going well. Folks, if you want, you can follow the Don't Unfriend Me Show at thedumshow.com. You can follow us across social media. Olivia and I, these are the last days that we won't have the same mic. And the reason why is it's really good to use the same mics in studio. The problem is that's a $500 mic. This is a $500 mic. And I didn't want to have to replace the mic. So I found someone to buy the $500 mic so I can go get that $500 mic and we can both have the same mic.
Try and say that 5 times fast.
I think I did that okay.
You did pretty good.
What are we I have some things that we need to talk about. It's Red Friday, folks. RED, remember everyone deployed. If you have not had a chance to go over to thedumshow.com, you can pick yourself up a beautiful Red Friday shirt and get 10% off by using the code DUM10. To let you know, tipping is not just a city in China. It also is something we do here. We have a tip goal that we have reset. Instead of doing it by the month, we do it by the evening, and it's been going very, very well so far. We're going to reset that goal right now. Boom, there it is with a magic sweep of the hand. And we are open for business. We are 100% funded by you, the viewer. And if you would be so kind and you have already donated to the hurricane victims, maybe some veterans, you've got the family taken care of for Christmas, or you at least have that money set aside, maybe you might consider helping the Don't Unfriend Me Show. We would appreciate it. So tonight's goal is on the clock, $200. You can go to thedumshow.com/donate, use PayPal, Venmo, or mail us something if you want to. It's available. We got a lot to do tonight. A lot of people know there's a gentleman who watches the show. His name's Kyung, and he's named after a North Korean missile, so which is actually a Chinese-made missile, but it doesn't matter. The point is, Kyung is somebody who is fairly intelligent. Leroy and I both know who he is. He usually adds a lot to the intel conversation, at least shows signs that he either is a civilian who is very well read into the basically unclassed world, or he's a former intelligence guy. I don't know either, and honestly, I don't really care. What I do care about is when information comes out that makes statements that are incorrect. So I'm going to address something based upon the current information, and can't find me on Facebook. What do you mean? Liv, are we not on Facebook? We have to be on Facebook.
We've got. Yeah, we're up.
You're on.
Yeah, we got a ton. No, we don't have a ton on, but we are on Facebook.
Yeah, we're on.
We're being throttled to death, but we're on Facebook.
You might just have to search for us.
So, can you give her a link to our Facebook page? It's real simple. Just
sure
go to it and it's at the Dumb Show. Real easy to find. Okay, Leroy, I've got some questions for you because this is usually how we do this. Okay.
Okay.
Great. If you have, let's say, a F-35B fighter from the United States, and as far as logistics, infrastructure-wise, how would you house these if you have enough to make 3 squadrons? Where would you put them?
Well, you would want to put them in either secure Air Force type facilities, or if those facilities aren't as secure as one might like, you would put them in something called a HAB, or a hard, is it HAB or no, HAS, HAS, a hardened aircraft shelter.
That's correct.
Yes.
And why would you put them in a hardened aircraft shelter? What type of scenarios would you want to ensure that a multi-million-dollar airplane, what type of situations would you want to put something in a hardened aircraft shelter?
I'm glad you asked that. So there's been
Okay,
several instances over the last decade or so of increasing technology, which has allowed certain terrorist groups or people with nefarious intentions to get a hold of a drone, program the thing with just a straight up GPS, fly to this location, and then potentially drop, ordnance or a grenade or anything that would render that aircraft useless. And in the case of an F-35, because it's so technologically advanced, it doesn't take much. The more complicated the aircraft, the easier it is for the thing to, potentially cause damage if something like that were to happen.
So if you were to have a hardened aircraft shelter, some of the things that we learned, because Pearl Harbor, surprisingly enough, even though they had prop airplanes in World War I and World War II, the limited availability in World War I, a massive amount in World War II, and rocket-based or jet engine-based aircraft really were only from the Germans. The Italians had a couple of models, but didn't know what the fuck to do with them, and they never made airspace. But
right,
it's become more complicated. But there was really something that we learned in Pearl Harbor where the Japanese exploited us. And Leroy can tell you what that would be. What were some of the things that it did for our buoy aircraft, our Beechcraft, our sub hunters, also our Corsairs and other type of airplanes? What's one of the mistakes that we did with our ships and our airplanes in Pearl Harbor after the attack?
I'm not sure necessarily where you're you're aiming
from a logistical standpoint. We're talking about where we put our aircraft.
Meaning
that's
the fuel,
but that's one thing. Go ahead, keep going. Fuel. What about the fuel?
Well, so actually they kept the fuel tanks in a separate location, which is oddly enough, in the case of Pearl Harbor, when the Japanese attack occurred, they were able to inflict massive amounts of damage on actual warships and aircraft and things like that. But because the fuel tanks were not located near the base, they ended up. Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you, everybody who's done that. I'm sorry we were talking, but everybody, I'll get to, Liv's going to give me the names in a second. Go ahead, Leroy.
But in the case of the aircraft, maybe I'm
no,
not as astute on that part of history as I'd like.
So there were multiple message intercepts on Pearl Harbor as far as possible saboteurs that would be coming and hitting the aircraft, and they were fairly spread out. And the reason why they were spread out, because SOP, standard operating procedure, is that the explosive radius of an aircraft, if it were to be hit by some sort of bomb, you want to make it 3 times the size of its overall footprint that it would leave. So they spread these planes out considerably, and that's just SOP. However, they didn't do that. And with the threats of saboteurs, they didn't have enough people to guard the aircraft, so they put them all together. And this was the Japanese, obviously, they felt were doing counterintelligence in order to go ahead and have easier targets, where if they would hit one plane, it ultimately would destroy the whole squadron, which it ultimately did. So one of the major things as far as like operational security that you would do, especially at an air base, is to ensure that all your vehicles and all your aircraft are separated and have a large enough footprint where they wouldn't create casualties from their mutual assured destruction because of one being destroyed. This is SOP. It's even more so when it comes to 5th generation aircraft because of the expense. In fact, you won't see open 5th generation aircraft not in a hardened bunker, not in a hardened aircraft hangar, because of the ultimate value. They're just not going to be on an open tarmac parked like a C-130. So when you talk about an F-22...
they're not Chinooks. They're not something that are as durable as you might like. These are the scalpels in the sky, not necessarily the ball peen hammers that Russia uses.
Right. And instead of having an entire squadron in Pearl Harbor, where you look at the Japanese who have a base in Yokohama, they have a base in Okinawa, they have a base in Yokosuka, Hokkaido. The reason why is because they've spread their air force all around, because they were the ones that instigated this. So when the United States came in and put U.S. bases, they ensured that they had multiple air force bases in Japan, so one enemy couldn't hit one and then make them obsolete. So they created redundancies. Now, the Jews aren't stupid. And I'm telling you, there isn't one F-35 base that houses 75 different F-35s. That is a fallacy. In fact, there are multiple bases that house F-35s, and I'll be fuck all if I'm going to tell you which ones they are, because that shit ain't in the open, and I'm not going to talk about it. But what I will talk about is Nevatima Air Base and what happened there. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up a picture. And this is a standard circulating image, and Leroy is going to tell you all about it because Leroy happens to know. Yes, you are, because you happen to know about these type of things, and I don't even need to brief you on this.
Oh,
so if we're looking, if we're looking at this image here, let me do this. Let me close this. Let me go over to this window, and I can blow this up. Liv, can you please tell me the names of the lovely people?
It was Bobby Richardson.
Okay.
And I am not quite sure how to pronounce it. Fuck Nguyen?
Yeah, it's Fuck Nguyen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if it's Fook or Fuck.
No, it's not Fook. It's essentially, if it's Vietnamese or Korean, just be the most offensive you can, and you'll say it right.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
It's Fuck Nguyen.
So thank you, Fuck.
I'm just letting you know, because the fuck in freaking from German doesn't translate into North Korean or Korean and Mandarin or katakana.
the fucking down. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Fook. It's just Fuck Nguyen. Right, I'm pretty sure. Now he might say it's Fook, but it's not. That's not the pronunciation that I'm aware of, because the oo sound in Korean is not generated from those letters, I believe.
Got
it. Moving on. So Leroy, let's go ahead. See, Leroy's already breaking this down. So Leroy, if we go over here, and I am going to go ahead and say, hey, what are those? Those look familiar.
Those look like C-130s.
Yeah, C-130. So C-130s are a transport vehicle. They're also, they have EC-130s, which are long-range 105 millimeter howitzers, 130 millimeters. They've got FLIR. They've got all types of wonderful, we can put a size of a Volkswagen anywhere we want when we're at, 20,000 feet. These are fantastic. They are great for cargo. They're also great for airborne. Airborne use them for years outside the C-17s for airborne insertions and things to that effect. But anyone who has jumped out of it with a round chute has jumped out of one of these, including myself. They're pretty standard, and a lot of people have done hops on them, which sleeping halfway across the country. Yeah, I think everyone's done a hop. Yeah. So this is a C-130, and this is a pretty standard vehicle. Hey, Christine Clark, thank you for your donation.
Thank you.
What's interesting?
Hey, wait, go back. Somebody was taxiing there. Go back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well,
yep. And you actually, it's interesting because you can tell this is an American based, and you can tell by the overall camo pattern.
There he is.
It could be French, but more than likely the grays usually are National Guard or Air Force.
Right.
It's probably Air Force, which means it's just an American based, and these are the Israeli based upon the desert colors. But you can also tell by the prop load, and you can also tell that there's been changes to the extension of the props from the C-130, which has happened over generations of building it. But I don't need to go into specifics because what the fuck do I know if I'm talking about anything, because what do I know? I'm just a rookie. Let's go look over here and let's look at this. What is this? Does it look like the Iranians blew these up? Are those blow up marks? What is that?
No. Those are run up patterns. And so what those are from the jets that were parked there prior. Before they move, they are required to run up their engines for a period of time. And so they'll go full throttle for a few moments. And inevitably what that does is it scorches the concrete underneath. And that's the patterns that are left behind.
Yep. And that's pretty standard in SOP. But you also have to understand is that you have some things that are civilian aircraft here, which are used which would be a standard Learjet. These are streamliners. They're pretty easy. They've got their a citation or a streamliner, something to that effect. And then we've got something over here.
That looks a little funky.
Yeah, what do you think that is? Do you know?
Man,
I was looking at it. I was looking at it for It looks Russian, doesn't it?
No.
Are you sure it's
No,
not
I know what that
Iranian?
is.
I know you know what that is. I'm waiting for you to tell
I
me what that
know,
is.
but I can't. Hold on. Is
It's
it
okay.
E7?
Look it up. I don't think so. I think it might have a KC in front of it, but I could be wrong.
Wait, what? You think it's a KC-130?
Possibly. If it's not a KC-130, it might be a DC. Yeah, I'm looking for you. You tell me.
I
It kind
need
of.
to get some measurements off that.
Well, just look at the Learjet next to it. You're talking what? 51 feet? 675 feet for that Lear. So let's assume that. Let's look at those engine outtakes. So those engine outtakes are what? 6.5 feet. So yeah, you're looking about 70 feet for that fucker. So that thing's probably 130 feet, 125 feet. Wingspan is, what is it?
I
don't
can't
know.
tell, but I'm going to give you an idea of what I think it is.
It's too narrow. It's too narrow. It's too narrow to be a KC-135. You see what I'm saying? It's too long and it's too wide. KC-35 is short and fat. So I don't think it's a KC. I was going to ask you because I didn't have
Call
enough.
it fat. You might hurt its feeling.
Yeah, it's big boned.
There you go.
E3. Maybe an E3? No.
Maybe an E3. Yeah, maybe a little too big for that though.
Somebody said B29.
I don't think so.
No, that's not a B-29.
No, but actually, it's too narrow. Look at the nose. That's going to tell us. That's why I said it looked Russian. Look how prominent, because the elongated fuselage in the front of the wings. That's Russian, dude. It looks Russian.
Honestly, it does kind of look like an E3 with the dome missing. And in that picture, you can kind of sort of see just forward of the tail. It looks like there's a black spot on it, which could have been a mount. It's hard to say.
You think it's an E3?
I'm speculating. I would need to take measurements.
This is just fun. I think the wing sweep is not right for an E3, but the elongated fuselage is. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
You know what? Nope, the wing sweep isn't right. No, maybe. I'm looking at it right now.
It's hard to say.
No. You might be onto something. It very well might be an E3. It just looks really big for an E3, but it doesn't have AWACS on it though.
Right. That's
So
why I was saying there's that area just forward of the tail. Looks like it might be a mount. Maybe.
Yeah, but I'm looking. No, dude. Oh, it is. Look at your rear fins. They're matching that back swept pattern. And then the angle on those wings, and then look at the extended fuselage. It very well may be an E3. It just looks too big.
This is one of those things, folks.
This is what we do.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
When you go through imagery school, they put you through 4 or 5 different phases, and they'll test you on what they call order of battle, or OOB. Mm-hmm. And like the very first chapter in that class is naval order of battle. And the reason they do that is because ships are the biggest thing. So it's kind of hard to mess that up. It's kind of hard to mess up a carrier in overhead imagery versus, a frigate. But gradually what they do is they work their way down in size. So the first chapter may be naval order of battle, but the very next chapter would be something like air order of battle, something like that. And that's when they teach you, all right, look at the shadows, look at the overall length of the thing, try and get measurements of the wingspan, that kind of thing. And that's how you figure out what you're looking at. That looks like a bomb dropped on it.
Right. Now let's talk about this, right? So let's go ahead and analyze this. First of all, what we're doing here is we're kind of playing a little coy. Like the questions I'm asking Leroy, I know he knows, and the things that so we're just kind of playing the game here. Olivia's watching us, trying to figure out what the fuck we're doing.
BDA is what they call that. Battle damage assessment.
Yep. So with this, we have to go ahead and assume and look at a few things. So when you're looking at an image of this, you're going to look at a couple things. One is measurement. So your measurement is going to be the size of your overall damage. The second thing you're going to go ahead is look at blast patterns. Okay. And then you're going to look at variables. You're going to look at shadows. You're going to look at overall angles. You're going to look for separation and color of pixels because you want to make sure, one, that this isn't a fabrication. And the fourth thing you're going to go ahead and do is stop and see if you can replicate the damage with other type of imagery. Because here's the one thing you need to know. With the amount of bombs that we have dropped off and the amount of film that we have taken since World War I will tell you that there pretty much is no scenario that we don't have a photograph of what weaponry can and can't do. So you're going to go ahead and make some assessments. Leroy, when you're looking at this, go ahead and explain to people what are the first things you think of and see.
All right. So the first thing that you do when you're analyzing something like this is you try to figure out whether or not you think that building is even still usable. Because if it's not usable, then at that point the mission is completed. If you're the guy who was dropping the bomb, and you would, as an analyst, you would look at that and say, all right, the building is 25% destroyed with all of the main walls still intact. So in this case of this, it probably still is usable.
Now, why would the main walls being intact be important when you're looking at bomb damage or BDA?
Right. Sure. It's a great way to assess whether or not the structure will still support a roof structure. So if the surrounding walls are still intact, then that means really to put a new roof on doesn't take that long. And also that any of the surrounding anything that was surrounding below. So you can see where the hole is, but if you zoom out on the building, you're pretty certain that things that were located in the case of this relative to the far end of the building, that stuff is still intact.
You also want to look at, and it'll tell you some. It'll also, real quick, just tell you whether you have an internal or external explosion, which is really important. Right. So that's one of the things you need to understand, because if you're looking for something, if this was a bombing or if this was sabotage or an explosion from gas or whatever. So here you can see that there are some key indicators that tell us that this is a strike from above. But what's interesting, and I know Leroy is going to get to this, is the overall trajectory of the blast is synonymous with a vertical or non-laser guided bomb, and not something that would be a rocket based upon geosynchronous targeting, infrared targeting, laser targeting, or a GBU type device, which is being painted from the outside, which can come in not straight down, comes at an angle on its own propulsion and inertia with guided fins, etc. But is this a vertical explosion or is this an angular explosion based upon what you're seeing?
That looks pretty vertical to me.
It looks vertical to me too, which is interesting to the narrative because there were no vertical bombs dropped. Now, does it possibly mean that this could have been a secondary impact from possibly Arrow 2 or Arrow 3 intercepting this missile and fuselage did this damage? Could this be a fuselage damage singular hit in your opinion?
Could it be in a fuselage? Yeah. I suppose it is possible.
With that much damage, you think? Depending upon the speed and the altitude, right?
I don't know. I would have to study this one a little bit longer.
It's hard to tell because what you're seeing here is you're looking at something that has entered and then exploded up and vertical and out because you can see the blast radius. So we don't know the angle of trajectory that this came in, but you can see some very aggressive center area. Let me zoom in this. This is going to help.
There's debris 30 to 50 feet on either side.
At least.
But the main trusses to the roof are still intact.
They are, but if you look here, you can see the absolute impact and the pressure that came through because these are obviously... it depends on what type of metal they use. Now, the frames are not usually aluminum. The exteriors are, but these are going to be, steel beams. And these things are warped to shit, which usually means an intense explosion that was slow moving, right? Or fire, right? Fire can do it too. So there's a lot of central damage, which is conducive with a overhead or an angled entry from an explosive ordnance, okay? So whatever hit here was fairly large. Are there any missile systems, when you think of Iran, what missile system this would probably be? A singular impact that would do this much damage on this target? Off the top of your head.
No, not off the top of my head. I would have to research this more. You have hit the crescendo of my kind of knowledge on
It's
this
okay.
without
No,
doing
it's
further
okay.
research.
That's okay. That's why we talk about this stuff. So the missiles that were used, this would be the damage here would be a ballistic missile. Okay, you're not going to find a standard man-made rocket or a smaller style Chinese or Russian-made missile. The Fatah 2, the Kyong is a possibility, and there's a few others. The only thing that would probably do this much damage is based upon speed of entry, not necessarily explosion radius. And that's where you would have to ask the question, was this a hypersonic missile? And the chances of that would be very high. So this very well could be a Fatah 2. This could be something else. But if you look at the ordnance that Iran has, you would have to look at overall speed, because the explosive radius of these weaponries don't do this much damage. This is a 1,000-pound bomb, 500-pound bomb, 1,500-pound bomb that would do this. And the infrastructure would not be solid on all these other buildings, and you would see the frame completely destroyed. So if you're using a 500-pound GBU, 1,000, 2,000, 1,500, there's going to be 10 times more damage. This is a localized explosion, which is probably based upon speed and the overall explosion of the warhead itself. So now that we know that, can you give me an estimate, just for shits and giggles, if you can, for me, the size of this one hangar from here to here? You said 30 feet of debris. What do you think?
It looked like it was about 30 feet out, 30 to 50 feet out on either side. I'm seeing debris, boards and whatnot. If I was going to guess as far as the size of their diameter of that hole.
How about just the building? How about the building
from
here?
So Normally what you do is you take something that's within frame that has a known distance. In the case, that might be a truck on the off on the left there. Trucks are 53 feet. The cab for them are normally like a semi truck. So if that is a semi truck type thing, then go back to the building and you could pretty well tell that look. You got to go back.
No, I know. What I'm trying to do is show you that there's parked cars here. So we've got a car right here. So you're looking at about eight.
All right.
There's an eight. There's your 8 feet. Yeah. There's your 8 feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
So you've got 8 feet. So how many cars can we put in there?
That's 80 feet by probably 50 feet.
50, 45. That's what I estimated. Okay. So this is a fairly large hangar. This would be, there's small, medium, and large base hangars. Small would be for smaller fixed-wing single-engine aircraft like a Cessna or a Piper Cub. A medium range is going to be for a Learjet, something to that effect. And a large hangar is going to be for, fixed-wing aircraft, rotary aircraft, things to that effect. And then you're going to have an extra-large carrier, which is going to be carrying KCs and DCs and larger type 4-engine style planes. Now that we know that, okay, now follow me here.
I'm following you.
How many F-30? How much you're putting? You're going to find out in 2 seconds. This is 80 foot. This is 50 foot. Do you know the length of an F-35 off the top of your head, just for shits and giggles?
I don't actually.
51 feet. Do you know the height? 14 feet.
Nope.
And then do you know the wingspan? Now give me the guess on the wingspan. You can guess because it's 51 feet and it's fuselage. How long?
It's 51 feet for the total length. Then I'm going to say the wingspan is 35 feet.
That's perfect. It's actually fucking like 31.5.
I was just going to ask, like a human, our wingspan from tip to tip is how tall we are. Is that how it is with planes?
No, not at all. In fact, wings are usually shorter than the fuselage. So aerodynamically, bigger wings don't necessarily mean anything unless you're a B-52. But even if you stretch the fuselage, right? That's the point. Yep. Like a B-52, that's not true. Or you look at the B-2B bomber, it doesn't have a fuselage because it's the U-2 spy plane is another one. Absolutely. So usually, Liv, the more aerodynamic you want to be and the faster you want to go, the shorter the wingspan and a little bit longer the fuselage. If you're going to carry heavier payloads, wingspan is absolutely important because of lift and overall thrust ratio.
Got it.
Okay. So now that we have this thing and we have the space of this little hangar, and we said it was about 80 feet by, probably 50 feet. How many F-35s, if they have a 35-foot wingspan, 51 feet long, could you fit in that one hangar with this damage? Realistically. Yeah, realistically. Like we're not packing these fucking things like sardines on top of each other. We're not
No,
going by
you'd-
cubic feet.
That's max 2 or 3.
That is correct. Two is the correct answer. There's no way you're going to nut to butt. Okay, so
Right.
this whole thing immediately, that 20 F-35s were destroyed, is completely fucking full of shit. Okay?
Who said that?
Oh, just don't get me started. Just let me finish this. All right, so now that we've done this, I'm going to go ahead and wow you. These are the civilian. Now I've got non-civilian photographs if you would like, and I have made sure that all of this is unclassed, 100%. I'm going to show you some of the damage from October 2nd. This is what a standard missile.
Looks like a crater there.
Yep, it's a crater. And you're going to get, and it's in concrete, so you're going to see a blast radius, right? You're going to see overall powder burns from here. You're going to see this kick up a shit ton of dirt and dust. But these are impact spots from what happened. This is an August 3rd shot. And then I will go ahead and give you, once again, October 2nd, just to show you what this looks like. All right. Now, what if I went ahead and said, all of you guys that are thinking that that was a giant part of, here's the non-classified, you don't have access to shots. And I went ahead and marked the base for you, what we were just looking at, because this is the entire Nevatim base. It has absolutely 100%, you're in the wrong spot. Because I'm going to say something right now, because I know that they are no longer there. So I'm going to give you a little piece of intel. This long runway you see right here is not for single engine, 2-engine, fixed wing aircraft and fighter and attack aircraft. This is for those bigger, larger planes. This is a longer runway. They are heavier, they are slower. Why are all those C-130s there? Well, because you're never going to stack C-130s against fighter aircraft. You're just not going to fucking do it. Because the real area for the fighter aircraft is over here, folks. So the second thing is that you can look, because the air traffic control, the intercept is here. There's things here that I can zoom into and show you that are integrated air defense systems, that are American-based systems, that are Aegis systems that are designed to intercept missiles. There's also an Arrow 2 system in this picture as well. It's all unclassified. I don't have to, it's not a classified photograph, but I'm letting you know this is pictures about 5 years old, and then I have a couple of other ones. But I'm just trying to show you is that this is not where you house F-35s, okay? So
something else that's interesting on that photograph is that on the heavier aircraft end of things, if you zoom back out,
doing it,
the southern runway, right? You've got black marks that are at either end, which means that particular runway is one of the runways that they use for both landing in either direction. When you go up to the other runway, there's only that same black area at the one end. Well, that's a taxiway.
This is a taxiway. Yep. And that's okay. But you can tell that the takeoff and landings are shorter and more dispersed. So they're coming in. This is definitely a smaller aircraft, because you can see how sporadic.
Into that area.
Okay. I think you saw what I said. Go ahead. Where do you want me?
Oh no! You're already in the right. So with that area that is blackened on the.
Yep.
I was going to say that's either, and they call those like alert parking positions, alert taxiway kind of thing. It's where they would stick somebody who's on the. It's an aircraft that's already prepped to go out. It's somebody that if they found out, oh shit, we need to be in the air in 5 minutes.
It's a QRT. Yeah,
but
it's
the
a
thing
quick.
is, you can see the white lines at the far edges of the runway. Could you go to the other end?
Yep.
Okay, it's not there. It is a little bit.
So what he's trying to say is, and he's absolutely right, and that's what I was wondering if he was going to pick up on. This is where you have like a QRT response. You're going to see singular or a scrambled traffic aircraft. You're going to have a threat to the base. You're going to have a region that needs air support. You would use this, and this runway would be dedicated for people to simply go off of, and then on their return flights, they were going to take the longer runway. This is specifically to scramble aircraft in a quick and ready position. So that's what he's trying to say, and he's absolutely 100% correct. we could go deeper. I'm not going to put up the high res image, but let me explain to you. There are multiple hangars and smaller style reinforced hangars here that are all underground. All this ventilation, you see multiple buildings here where multiple hangars are reinforced, and that is essentially underground. You can also see another one of these runways that he's talking about right here. You're seeing it here from the entry point, the exit point. Those what you might see these marks that he's talking about. But this is the only portion of the photo that we had. So for people thinking, oh my God, they just nailed that base and they were so precise. No, because this entire fucking thing is the base. Okay, number one. Go to the next thing. And this is what's going to be interesting. Okay, so I've done some things too.
You dropped a lot of points there.
Yeah, because this is where the bombs hit.
Oh.
So this is going through and breaking. And this is a fairly high resolution map where you can see scorch marks and you can see impact spots on this all over here. And I've went ahead, along with a very cool company that I'm not going to go ahead and mention, had the ability to go ahead and pinpoint where these explosions are. So you can see that the precision of Iran is complete dog shit.
Oh, it's always been that bad. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're saying right now with the Fatah and the Kyung, the two, is that they're able to hit multiple targets between 5 and 30 meters apart. That is complete bullshit. This is a pray and spray campaign. A lot of their stuff is actually in the kilometers. A lot of the things that we've seen from an intelligence standpoint is that they might get within 5 kilometers. And this is a lot of their lower end, smaller style missiles, man-portable type missiles, vehicle-driven missiles. Their fixed position, larger missiles, bigger birds, and ballistic missiles have a higher accuracy rate, but even those are 50 meters to 150 meters. When you're talking about precision strikes and hitting areas and taking out aircraft that are stationary, you have to have precision within 5 to 15 meters to be effective, and that is the absolute truth. So Iran does not have that capability. This is a pray and spray situation.
What you're describing is something called circular aerial probable, and what it is, it's like a concentric rings, and the further you get away means that your bomb is less accurate from the area that you were originally aiming at. The United States, our circular area probable for systems like that is, I'm not going to tell you, but it's pretty precise. But for Iran, when you see this kind of pattern, Matt is spot on. That is random.
Yeah, and when you're talking about,
they're not accurate at all.
And circular area probable is what you would take is your outliers. So for instance, this mark right here, you would remove this one. And then if your dead center point is here, you would remove that one. And those are your outliers. Those are the, whoops, I missed. And this is the, wow, I got it perfect. And then you would go ahead and literally draw a circumference around this. This is a 5 kilometer cap, which is dog shit.
What's the difference between the yellow and the white pins?
One is covered, and I can't show it because it's under cloud.
Got it.
But I'm also can only use certain imagery. So unfortunately, I can't task a keyhole satellite. I can't task a satellite to get this. This is the only one that I could find. But I know based upon previous images that I did have that I can't release, and based upon the company that actually did a lot of this groundwork, these are covered by the map that I saw was one that had 100% visibility, but I can't use that map.
Got it. All right. Before we go any further.
Okay, hold on a second.
Okay.
I'm almost done. So people want to know why we're going over this information. Olivia, why don't you ask your questions and then we'll go from there.
It wasn't a question. It was, we got a donation from Jebed? Kevin, the nickname.
Oh, okay.
And then Christine Clark just ordered 3 shirts. So.
Christine Clark, thank you so much. And Kevin gave us a donation. What was the donation from Kevin? I missed it.
$21.10.
Thank you, Kevin. You're the best. So we're at $104.99. Thanks, guys. We have a shit ton of people on, by the way, so this must be somewhat interesting. Was there any other questions we have?
That was it.
Okay. What's the difference between the yellow and white pins? Simple. Cloud cover versus non. I can't show you the impact point because there's clouds or shadow over it. However, this map is these pin strikes were able to be what I could show on a map that I could not show you, if that makes any sense. I didn't have authorization to show that map. I have authorization to show this map. So I just overlaid the strike points. Does that make sense? Good. Why are we doing this? Because there is something you should see. Right now, there is state-run media out of Iran, whatever you want to say. It's up to you.
Oh, they run them right.
They're gonna be. If they thought pagers were bad, wait till Israel uses all the fun toys that they do possess. Because if they think this is good, just wait. They just don't seem to get the message. They keep wanting to save face. And it's probably the dumbest thing they could do. They should step down as quickly as possible. But moving on. There was essentially, I'll just put it in layman's terms, real simple. Iran is a coordinated state-run media, and the people who have the power in Iran to control their information are the Shah, the Ayatollah, and the clerics. And these are essentially just state-run disinformation campaigns. So, for example, say a bomb goes off and kills their ambassador. It'll come off that their ambassador wore a flak jacket, went into an embassy, and took out 150 infidels while screaming Allah's name. And you're like, that didn't fucking happen. So essentially, it's like the leftist media, but it's not spin. It's just simply made up, fabricated bullshit. And they spew this stuff all over. Like Soleimani, they called him a freedom fighter. They called him a general. They called him a hero. The guy was a fucking terrorist. That's what he was. The point being is that Iran state-run media is saying that they destroyed 20, 30, 40 F-35s, that they've also destroyed 10 or 15 F-22s when Israel doesn't even have F-22s. I'm just letting you know because they don't have the capability or the pilots to fly them. In fact, there's out of all the pilots and all the militaries and all the gin joints in the world, about 0.2% have the capability to fly an F-22, and it ain't Israel. So
well, we don't even export it for a reason.
Yeah. Not just because of that, but because of that. Yes, it is a top tier fighter, and it's what we're using as a fifth generation fighter. Honestly, we won't even release that until we probably have seventh, eighth generation down the road. The F-35 is a very advanced aircraft, and it can impact and take out about 95% of the known aircraft that are not fifth generation aircraft in the world today. An F-22 can fight 15 F-15s from 500 miles away, and they'll never even see it coming. There's the difference. The point is, they don't have any. So my job is to ensure that you're getting the right information. And this started on Twitter 3 days ago from an Iranian account from a guy who is a Hamas sympathizer. And he's got about 2 million followers. And he launched and said that the following. I'm going to show you the picture.
I got to hear this. This sounds interesting.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because it's a fucking complete fabrication. I got to go back. Hold on.
About 90% of everything that comes out of Iran is always this overblown bravado that where they're trying to sell the rest of the world on some level of capability that they don't have. They don't. They lack the technical expertise to assemble some of this stuff, and they also lack the educational acumen that would be required to assemble some of this stuff. So they just don't have a lot of this stuff.
It's also something more than that. It's the fact that they don't have the counterintelligence in place or the apparatuses to collect this information for damage assessment. They don't have the satellites. They don't have the high-altitude aircraft. They don't have the imaging. They don't have the spies on the ground. Thank you, Frank. They don't have the intelligence for this. Okay? So when they want to do damage assessment, it's not what you think. Let me go ahead and grab this image here, and I'll explain what this is.
It's funny because as you were talking about that building, I was trying to recall my NGA classes. NGA is the 3-letter agency that they teach all of the battle damage assessment type stuff. And so I was trying to get the old gears grinding again. I haven't done that in a while.
Well, that's good practice. They're going to ask you, it's like, hey, gosh, you seem like you're in practice. I was on the Don't Unfriend Me show, and we did it live. Then you're going to get black bagged.
Oh, yeah. Good luck with that. Because I'm not armed at all.
Yeah. So this is what I wanted to show you. This is sorry to blow this up. It says Iran has successfully destroyed 30 Israeli F-35 fighter jets that were used to genocide 40,000 children. First of all, that's complete dog. It's complete dog shit. If they're bombing,
pull that photo up. How many aircraft do you see in there?
Yeah. Not only that, do you know where that photo's from?
No.
That's like Farwa from seven fucking months ago. So, folks, do you understand that there's technology that can run any image that you put out, and I can run it against databases that are incredibly specific and can look at that image and find out where it's from? So immediately, right when you see that the image is there, it's a lie. You know it's a lie. That has nothing to do with what you're claiming. So if you look at all the places, Al Jazeera, Indian Times, you look at all the places that are doing this, their source is Iranian state media is saying, and the moment you read that, you can just close the article. Iranian state media declares, and just shut it down. So not only did I just go ahead and explain why it's fake based upon an image in the original source post that Iran is putting out propaganda and everybody's running with, including MSNBC, ABC, and everything else, there is absolutely zero evidence in any way, shape, or form that Israel lost any F-35s. And based upon the damage profile, I showed you the largest structural impact, and that probably got some fixed-wing rotary aircraft. It probably got whatever. I don't even know what Israel has right now as far as their helos. I have no idea. But
generally
that's
speaking, we don't speculate when we're doing a BDA, so it's hard to say what the hell was in that hangar.
Sure.
But at worst case scenario, right, there may have been 2 aircraft parked in there.
That's the point we're trying to make.
Best case scenario, right, is that how do you know there was anything in there at all? They could have hit nothing but pavement, and you wouldn't know.
Right. And also the fact that you have C-130s right there lined up and stacked. Right. It's more than likely that it was, like I said, a rotary-based aircraft, which has a longer profile, or it was a larger size. You're not going to fit a C-130 into those hangars, but you could hit propulsion systems. You could do nav gear. You could do brake systems. You could do tires. You could do spare parts. We don't know what the fuck's in there. But the point is that's not where the F-35s would have been. The F-35s would have been north. And if you look at the damage, there's minimal, which means this, and let me explain it to you. Okay, the last thing I'm going to say, and then we're done. And this is not a guess, because when I look at the damage assessment, let me tell you what happened here. People are like, well, wait a second, Matt. Why did they hit all the way central and down here? Because the Arrow 3 systems protected this area like fucking a mother. They chose what to allow to come in, and they made sure that their top grade systems, which they don't have that many, 180 missiles come in. They probably had 30 to 50 Arrow 2s or Arrow 3s to use. They use those to intercept the sensitive targets, which are all right here.
Right.
We can't see your
if,
mouse.
If you know that a particular missile system is headed for out in the middle of nowhere, then why intercept it? It's going to hit nothing anyway. So the only infrastructure that you're going to protect is the things that are important. If it's not important, you let it go.
Right. The shit worth $20 billion. That's what you're going to go ahead and protect. All right. Good conversation, yo. Because Arrow 2 and Arrow 3 can intercept hypersonic missiles, but they're also more expensive like hypersonic missiles are as well. Okay. Good talk. I hope we had fun with that. I hope you learned something. If you didn't learn anything, whatever. I think it's important to do that because I can't stand disinformation. Okay. Now, am I saying the Jews are opening up and saying everything? They very well could have lost an F-35 or 2, but this whole thing of losing 20, please understand this. If Israel decided to stack 20, 30, 40, 50 F-35s, the United States would have a phone call to them in about 10 seconds and saying, get those fucking... What the fuck is wrong with you? Get those things to multiple air bases, spread them, and also scramble 5 of them 24 hours a day. You have those things flying, running cap all over your country, and they do. Okay? All right. Good conversation.
Never put all your eggs in one basket like that.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this from somebody who spent some time over there. It used to be F-15 Screaming Eagles and F-16s, but there has been either an F-4 Phantom, an A-4 Skyhawk, an F-16, an F-15, or an F-35 flying in Israeli airspace 24 hours a day since Vietnam.
That's true.
Bet. They are constantly in the air. And from being over there, I'm telling you, man, it was F-15s and F-16s constantly flying 24 hours a day.
Back in the late 90s, the F-15s that they were operating were they had revamped them. Israel, they had put all new electronics in them, and apparently they were not a joke. They were better than the ones that we had at one point. So they know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah. And they can also fly at night and over water. So that's also a benefit.
Feet wet. Yeah. Let's do that.
A lot of them can't. Thanks for letting Leroy and I go off. Now we'll bring it back down to some normalcy.
I want to do a shout out real quick.
Okay. Do a shout out.
JD Stillwell, his daughter just passed the bar exam.
Oh, wow.
So,
congratulations.
So what drinks did she learn how to make? That's awesome.
You're funny.
That's passing the bar. Was that her first time passing the bar? If it is,
I don't know, but
JD, tell us. All right.
I just thought that deserved a shout out. So good for her.
Oh, that's holy shit.
Holy crap! We got a lot of people who shared the show today.
Yeah, folks. We have the tip jar. We have the tip jar, and thank you so much for everyone who has donated. It's great to have such a great, strong start at the beginning of the month like this. If you have not tipped, then don't worry. No worries, right? But what you can do is share, share, and subscribe to the show. The more shares that go out, the more people are going to come on. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. Thank you very much for doing that. All right. So you can go to thedumshow.com/donate. I want to show you what a president should say. Now, I don't know if you've seen the internal struggle, but Kamala was about ready to come out and talk at a rally. Now, by the way, Donald Trump is speaking. I know that, but we're going to cover him tomorrow. Olivia and I are going to come on at 5 o'clock, and we are going to cover the Butler rally. We think it's important enough. It's a big thing. So we'll see you guys tomorrow on Saturday. Please tune in. Usually we do a DUM Club event on Saturday, but we're going to go ahead and just do this for everybody and cover the Butler PA rally. We think it's important enough. There's also Elon Musk is going to be there, and I think there's going to be kind of like a remembrance thing, and Donald's probably going to, President Trump is probably going to share some things that we want to hear about.
Is it going to be the same location?
Yes.
Oh shit.
It's going to be a much different situation than it was that day. I'm just letting you know. The Secret Service would not allow that to happen. Whether it's my understanding it is outdoors, but I could be wrong, and maybe someone else can educate me.
If it is, he's got some
I'll
balls,
say this.
my goodness.
You got to have balls of solid rock to go back to the same place where you just got had an attempted assassination, and you're just like, I'm going to go finish my job. Good on him. That is amazing.
Well, he's winning Pennsylvania anyway. So here we go. I want you to listen to this. He gets a question. And the question, yes, it's tomorrow evening, Saturday at 5 o'clock. We'll be on. Okay. The Buffs aren't playing, who are 4-1, by the way. Oh my gosh. They're looking good. All right, here we go. I want you to listen to this. He's asked about, do you think that this will change the votes in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia, the hurricane response? This is a perfect time for him to go ahead and throw Kamala, throw Joe Biden under the bus, and do what Trump always does. But I want you to listen to what he does. Listen to this. Whoops. Let me go ahead and turn on the audio here. That helps.
Say it. I'm not.
Are you concerned about disenfranchised voters in Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, et cetera, was the question.
Say it. I'm not thinking about voters right now. I'm thinking about lives. And to be honest, it's much bigger than anything else. But we're thinking about lives, a lot of lives lost, a lot of people missing. And that's what I'd be focused on right now.
Wow. That's a good answer. That's a good answer.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a good
That
answer.
is so good.
It's so rare for him to that's the right answer.
That was the carte blanche moment. That was like the golden ticket to say, here's the keys to the bus. Go ahead and run over Kamala and Biden. And he didn't do it. He was just like, look, not the right time. This is about lives. That was awesome.
It is. Now, in contrast, Kamala was coming out. Listen, I know I say her name wrong. Stop correcting me. It's Kamala is how you say it. I say Kamala, Kamalat. So there's a lot of things, knee pads. So I say her name different ways. But this is really interesting. Joe Biden, first of all, I don't know if you guys have known this, but you guys know where the press room is in DC?
In the White House?
Yeah, in the White House.
Yeah.
You guys know this? Yeah. Do you guys know that there's a pool underneath it?
No, I think I'd heard that.
Yeah. So there's a pool.
Is it full of sharks?
Yes, it's full of sharks. That's why they call it the Shark Tank. No, it's not full of sharks. But in the White House, they had an underground pool, and underneath where they have the White House briefing room and the press room, there is a pool underneath them. So when Joe Biden says, welcome to the pool, he isn't losing his frickin' marbles. But the interesting thing is this is the first time he has set foot in this room in his entire presidency. So you have to immediately say, okay, so 365 days times 4, right? So you're talking, almost 1,500 days? So out of all the days, why today? And literally within 1 minute, CNN was going to move over to Kamala Harris and talk about her saving the Teamsters or the longshiremen fucking dock workers union and the settlement. And Joe Biden walks out in the middle of the press briefing and takes center stage and literally blackens all channels with his shadow and takes away Kamala's moment. I'm telling you, that is a purposeful slight. That is not a mistake.
He's not happy.
No, he's pissed.
He's pissed right now.
He's pissed because you know what?
His own party forced him out. Of course he's not happy.
Yeah, watch this. I mean, this is hilarious.
Is that a cane? Oh, no.
No, and I got something to say. I don't care who the fuck it is. I don't care if it's Donald Trump. I don't care if it's Joe Biden. I don't care if it's Truman or Nixon or Alexander Hamilton. When the president of the United States walks into a fucking room, stand up.
Stand up.
Can you imagine how they have not seen the president? They don't even know what to do anymore. They were so shocked to see Biden, they forgot to stand for the president of the United States. I can show you film after film. When the president walks in, the press corps stands up. This is it just shows you the lack of respect.
Than that. Whenever you go to a courtroom, right? When the judge walks in, what's the first thing you hear? All rise, right? And that's for a judge. Yeah. This is the president, about 40 levels above that. Yeah, get your ass out of the chair. Yeah, show some respect.
Nobody stood up. Here you go. Watch this again. Listen to him.
Hey, folks.
Hi.
My name's Joe Biden.
Welcome, Mr. President.
Welcome.
So he goes on and they're like, so I think I might have the whole thing. But when he's walking out, they're like, he's like, how's the election going? And he's like, I'm back in, They did him dirty. I don't care how bad he was. They fucked him over like no other. What do you think about this, Livy? What do you think there's this huge pent up aggression going on? I mean, what do you think?
Oh yeah, I think he's got dirt on all of them, and I don't think he's going to come outright and share it with everyone.
Yeah.
But if he can do little snipes from afar like this to Kamala, then yeah. I mean, I don't think he's rooting for her to win. I think he's pissed at his party and he doesn't care right now.
Here's a video. And it's also interesting because in this video, CNN calls this out, and I just looked it up. So it's actually Charlie Kirk got this before me, so I want to give him credit, even though I didn't use Charlie Kirk's thought process on this, but it's his video and I didn't find it, so I'm going to give him credit on it. But watch this.
I'm curious what you think about this. We were actually about to go live to Vice President Kamala Harris.
You have to let it load, Liv.
Right now.
Give it 10 seconds before you jump down my shiznit.
Okay.
Jeez. I knew it was coming too. I'm sitting there going cringe, cringe, cringe. Oh.
Well, there's so many times that it didn't play on the screen that I was like, okay, so.
Is this a sexual innuendo? Are you using code words for me? There's so many
Yes.
times you didn't.
I do have a note, and I'm curious what you think about this. We were actually about to go live to Vice President Kamala Harris, who's speaking right now in Detroit, Michigan. And apparently she's talking about this port strike ending. She's trying to appeal to union workers. And yet you have the President of the United States come out clearly overshadowing her, answering significant questions. Is that a communications mistake? Is the left hand not talking to the right hand in this situation?
That's a very good point. And if they were coordinated, as you assume they would be, this would not have happened.
Frank Luntz, shut up. You haven't been right about... Dude, you haven't been right about shit in your entire career.
I didn't even recognize
Look at him. He's in a members only jacket, and he's the only member. I mean, seriously, dude. I mean, well, he is a member. This is pretty blatant. This is pretty obvious. I mean, first of all, who the fuck do you think you are, CNN? Saying that the president of the United States is overshadowing his vice president. He's the fucking president. I can't believe the balls on these people. They just want him to die.
Right. Where do you get off as a major news network basically saying, oh, what is he doing out there when the vice president is talking? And that's who
is running for the presidency.
Exactly.
That's the... I'll say this, that's the one thing that maybe an elderly white man might have in common with a 50-year-old woman of color. And it's the lack of that filter to, as you get older, how you say in your mind,
yes,
maybe I shouldn't say that. But, you get a little older and you're like, yeah, fuck it, say it. Let's see what happens. I wonder if around the dinner table, Joe is like, fuck this party. Just, I can't, like I want to know if he's dropping that kind of language. Just absolutely frustrated with the Democrat Party. They're like, man, they fucked me over for the last time.
Well, and I think, listen, he was always a moderate Democrat, always. Tina Savage says, I saw Pete Buttigieg has HIV today. No, he doesn't.
What?
There is absolutely no evidence whatsoever that Pete Buttigieg has HIV. And until I hear Pete Buttigieg stand up on stage and address the country that he has HIV, the answer is no, he doesn't. Right now it's being pushed by right-wing media. I saw the flash come from Twitter, and the person who pushed it first was completely a bullshit, never is fucking right about anything, couldn't hit water if you fell out of a fucking boat and got hit by a clock that's right twice a day. That person is I'm not even going to mention their name. I'm not even giving them any credibility. So, Tina, not coming down your shit. I'm just letting you know. I heard it too, and I don't believe it. I don't think it's true. If it changes and we get actual evidence of it, we'll give it to you, but I'm not going to spread stuff like that.
I get a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it true that illegal immigrants are getting like $4,000 a month, or
we're going to talk about that, and the answer is no, they're not getting $4,000 a month, but they are getting something, and we can go over that together and talk about it.
You probably know what I'm going to bring up next. Then
no, bring it up.
Apparently, the hurricane survivors are getting $750.
Yeah, it's not apparently, it's true. It's not,
and a lot of them aren't getting it because they're not meeting the criteria.
Yes, the criteria being date, geolocation, and income.
Income? What does income have to do with it? I don't think
fucking yell at me. I don't
think the hurricane discriminates based on where you live. It's
actually
not a fucking tornado.
Shall I read you the equity bylaws on FEMA?
Yeah.
No. I'm not. Excuse me. I'm not kidding. Would you like me to read you the equity bylaws on FEMA where they say that it's based upon equity and not necessarily severity? People who need it, who are impoverished and have less money, will get it first. They are now doing DEI shit in FEMA. This is all 100% accurate.
This is ridiculous. So this whole thing is they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina from this shit.
Here's a hint. I already think they lost it. Go ahead, Leroy.
I have a friend. So a couple months ago, when I was on vacation and I was gone for the week, and you guys saw that awesome location where I was broadcasting from, that was actually in the area where some of that hurricane damage hit, and that family, that house, they were approached and they were also offered that $750 check from FEMA. So yeah. If you're a victim of the last hurricane and FEMA hasn't helped you yet, maybe it's time to change your political leadership.
Well, remember this, folks. They did equity-based vaccine distribution too. Don't forget. You may think that that's some made-up bullshit that I just gave you, but if you go back and look at equity-based distribution of the vaccine, they went to the impoverished neighborhoods first. And you know what all the black people told them? Go fuck yourself. We remember the Tuskegee experiments. We remember chlamydia, gonorrhea, yellow fever. When you tested that shit on we don't want it. The two most adverse people in the United States, they say, are Republican MAGA supporters. You want to know who the second was? African Americans. And African Americans were more hesitant, adverse to the vaccine than white people were. So go figure that doesn't have something to do with the voting that's about to take place. Thank you, Keith. Appreciate you, Bubba.
There have obviously been a number of crises.
Hold on. Got to show you a video real quick. Keith, you're the best. Thanks, buddy. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for letting us hit our goal. We appreciate it. It means the world to us. Here's this.
The country has been facing over the past several days with the hurricane, with the port strike.
Here, we'll just do this. It's loud. Here, maybe a little quieter. Let's try it here. Let's try it. That's still fucking loud.
That is really loud.
Hold on a second. Let me see if I can turn it down. Okay, now let's try it. Whatever. Okay, here we go.
The situation in the Middle East. Can you talk about how your vice president, who is running for the presidency, has worked on these crises and what role she has played over the past several days?
Well, I'm in constant contact with her. She's aware we're singing from the same song sheet. She helped pass all the laws that are being employed now.
Oh, what?
She was a major player in everything we've done, including passage of legislation which we were told we could never pass. And so she's been, and her staff is interlocked with mine in terms of all the things we're
like scissors. So I got a question, folks. Let me get this straight. I thought the vice president couldn't empower and pass any legislation and be involved and was just a day player for the president. Which one is it? Is it that Kamala Harris can't go ahead and stop price gouging, can't go ahead and get extra funding for FEMA, can't go ahead and implement to lower inflation, can't stop the dock workers strike, or she can? Which one is it? Liv? I'm confused. Joe Biden says that Kamala Harris was the great brown hope and was lockstep in every piece of legislation. She helped pass the infrastructure bill, which created the inflation that we have in this country right now, even though they'll say, oh, it's a world problem, even though we were a lagging indicator. And everyone knows that the United States gets a cold, everyone else gets the flu. But whatever, I'm sure it's not printing $2.3 trillion in one quarter and then following up with $6.5 trillion in spending that increased inflation. But nonetheless, which one is it? Can she help, or is Joe Biden full of shit? Which one, Liv?
See, I don't know anymore. Apparently she could help, but no, she can't. I don't know. I mean, according to her, she can only help when she's president because, everything that she's planning to do when she becomes president, she could technically do now, but she's not. So that's her pretty much saying, I really don't care. Unless you give me my presidency, I'm not going to help you.
Yeah, it's interesting. Leroy,
This
thoughts?
is just another case of Democrats taking credit with every positive trend and headline that they can and distancing themselves from every negative headline that they can. It's just,
that's right.
It's just optics. It's them trying to fuck with your head.
It is. I got some more stuff to show you, man. We're going to have a fun night tonight. We've already got 200 fucking people on. We're crushing it tonight. It's nice to see. Of course, Facebook is throttling us. 103 on Twitter. Wonderful. Thank you, Brenda Shepard.
you,
Dude,
Brenda.
103 on Twitter. Let me get this straight. I got 5,200 followers on Twitter, and I got 103 people on. I got 200,000 followers on Facebook, and I got 71 on. Oh, yeah, Facebook doesn't have its thumb on the scale or anything. Give me a break. Pricks. Here's something you should see. This is gonna frustrate some people. I've been telling you about Lindsey Graham for a while, and please don't make me. Oh my God, Marjorie Taylor Greene. I warned you all. Nobody listened to me. I don't understand. You know how many people say, I completely disagree with you on Marjorie Taylor Greene, Matt. How can you say these things about Marjorie Taylor Greene? She's the nicest person. She's behind us. She's okay. All right. Well, I'm going to show you something. I can't believe this.
What can't you believe?
Wait, I'm looking it up, man. I'm trying. I got a lot going on. I'm a busy man.
There you are.
Hold on. This is your woman. This is your
woman?
No, dude, I'm not talking to you. I've been doing this 5 years. You know better. All right, here it is. All right, here we go. It's been 4 years. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Leroy, you want to read that for us?
Marjorie Taylor Greene. Yes, they can control the weather. It's ridiculous for anyone to lie and say it can't be done.
I'm sorry.
She's saying that the hurricane, that they created it. Listen, people. Donald Trump wins. We've got a lot of work to do. And if Donald Trump loses, we've got a lot of work to do. That woman is dumb as fucking dog shit. And I will say it right here. I am a conservative. I am a Republican. I'm not a rhino. Fuck Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert. They are idiots. And I stand by my adage that I'm still waiting for an amazing female politician. One who I can have faith in, believe in, and speaks with conservative values and isn't dumb as dog shit. I'm sorry. I'm waiting.
I can tell you where part of that comes from, at least from Marjorie Taylor Greene. Way back in the 60s and 70s.
Wait, Mike Blamer says Kat Kamek. Kat Kamek. I really like Kat. She's a very smart lady, and she's absolutely veteran, smart, love her. You're right. Good call. Go ahead, Leroy. Sorry, buddy.
Way back in the 60s and 70s, there were a series of experiments done by NOAA where they would do something called cloud seeding, where they would drop like sand or particulates into the atmosphere in order to make clouds. The condensation sticks to the granules. Next thing you know, you have a higher percentage of a chance of rain. Now, so it is possible to, do something like that. But what you can't do, right, is take an active hurricane or an active tornado, and all of a sudden make it disappear. Doesn't work that way. You can induce, rain to some degree, but that's all.
Unless you throw diapers up into it.
Wait, don't interrupt.
What you can't do is halt a hurricane right in the middle of its path or stop a tornado. You can't do that kind of thing. So for her to kind of throw that kind of an opinion out there in the form of a tweet is it's dishonest. And it's that typical politician. There is some element of truth to it, but it's mostly dishonest. So I really don't like that kind of thing.
Cloud seeding is very different than controlling. Listen, folks, it's a simple matter of physics. If we could control the power of a hurricane, then we would be releasing it on countries that we don't like, because that is it's an innocuous way just to fucking kill anyone you want. But how about this? Why not throw them over Africa?
Right.
Why not throw them over Chad and the Sudan and turn it into beachfront property and turn it into a temperate zone?
And why are we putting it over our own country and damaging our own country if we control it?
For votes.
Because Steven Seagal on the train, he would stop all of this.
Yes, that's true. Unless he was in a dark zone, right? If he's in the dark territory. Did you remember that? dark territory.
All of his movies all had like three words for the longest time. It was like above the law, out for a kill.
Right.
You know, it was always the same formula. And now he's fighting dudes like from his wheelchair. It's pathetic.
Right. Beaver shaved hairpiece. Ronco. So listen, I'm going to be doing a show, and the people are like, there's a patent for a tropical storm and hurricane controlling. There's a patent for it. I'm also going to tell you 10 other patents that have been created that you're going to make you laugh. Do you understand that you can patent just about anything? Just because there's a patent for it doesn't mean. It means that in the slim off crazy fucking chance that somebody creates it, they can say, no, I've got the patent for a hurricane controlling machine. Folks, there is no hurricane controlling machine. There are no hurricanes that are just created by osmosis, okay? That's not the way this works. There have been hurricanes as long as there has been a planet and long before any life was on this mofo. You need to stop. Okay? You give the United States, I've said, this should be the name. I have a shirt. You give the U.S. government too much fucking credit.
Way.
They can't balance a budget, and they can't balance their checkbook, and you think that they can create some sort of hurricane weather controlling machine, and you think foreign governments are just like, oh shucks, the U.S. has a hurricane, they can put a Category 5 hurricane up our ass anytime they want. Well, shit. Oh, bummer. Folks, you need to stop. Marjorie Taylor Greene's a fucking wacko. She's a Kevin McCarthy whore. She took $175,000 from McCarthy. She didn't vote him out. She went against Trump. She's not MAGA. She's fucking, I want to get elected. You guys don't understand. There are so many people who have trashed Trump and abandoned Trump, and all of them don't deserve your respect. There's very few people who have stood by him because watch, here you go. I warned you about this fucking Yahoo. I know I'm cussing and I'm sorry. I'm upset because here's the thing. You can challenge Trump, challenge him, call him when he's wrong. I agree. Do those things. But watch this shit. You remember Lindsey Graham, the gayest Republican in Senate? You know Lindsey Graham? I'm going to get Hillary Clinton. I'm going to take her down. I'm going to go ahead and she's going to jail. She's going to prison. Trust me, I'm Lindsey Graham. I hate Trump. I love Trump. I hate Trump. I love Trump. I hate Trump. Listen to this prick.
I've been going all over South Carolina like most people. I hadn't slept much. But look what's going on in Israel. Our friends in Israel are surrounded by people that want to kill them, destroy them, a second Holocaust in the making. And Biden says be proportional. What is the proportional response to people who want to kill you and your family? God. They're running out of ammunition in Israel. We have to help our friends to keep the war over there from coming here. They're willing to...
You son of a bitch.
God, he sucks.
You are a dirty prick. I am all for supporting Israel, but not at the fucking sake of our country. South Carolina, you're talking about South Carolina. You've got images of half of a wall from a house being ripped apart, a steel post, and you're talking about the Jews? This guy is a piece of shit. He wants war more than he wants cock. Go ahead, Leroy.
If you really think about it, if you really start to do the accounting on all of this stuff, we left, $80 billion worth of equipment in Iraq. We've sent over $100 billion to Ukraine. We sent more than $100 million to Israel. But if you live in South Carolina, and you've had the house ripped off of its foundation, and you've lost all of your worldly possessions and your car, and you are left with nothing, the government's going to give you $700. How pissed off should you be? Think about that.
Not only that, it's an excellent point because that ties into what I'm going to show you right now. Hold on.
I'm tired of us just giving away all the money,
Oh, dude, wait till you hear this. Olivia, I want you to do the math on this for me, sweetie, can you?
Okay.
Just hold on a second.
I need to get out my calculator.
This is easy.
Okay.
Just let me get this loaded. It's doing its thing. Man, Twitter is just, God, I should call Elon. Just be like, dude, seriously.
Get your shit together.
Come on, Elon Musk. Get this shit going.
You could tweet him if it would work.
I'll just call him. We're good friends. That's why I have 5,200 people for 1 year on my Twitter. Thank you for all my Twitter people. My lovely Twitter people. I love you. 107 of you. You're my number one channel now. We have turned Twitter into something special, and I'm so happy. I love it. We're working our ass off. They are throttling us, man. People come on my Twitter all the time, like YouTube, and go, dude, how the fuck are you not like, why don't you have 1 million followers? You post great stuff, great video. You know, I don't know. Here, watch this. Listen to this. Get ready to do the math, Liv.
Okay.
We've already had over 50,000 people to register for FEMA assistance, and about $6 million has already gone out. So we want to help people in that way in the short term, but there are also longer term solutions for people who have lost their homes.
Melanie, seeding skies and controlling a hurricane's path are two different things. Go look at cloud seeding. This has nothing to do with creating a hurricane, Melanie. You can push back all you want. There is no evidence at all. You might as well say Bigfoot is the new NAIR representative, okay? Cloud seeding 100% is I'm the one that posted a freaking article and showed you guys 100% that it was open, that scientists in aeronautics and engineering were doing cloud seeding experiments. But listen to what you're saying. Cloud seeding and creating a Category 5 hurricane are not the same things. And by the way, the basis for a hurricane isn't a cloud. That's not the way they start. They start with a mixture of cool water and hot water. They start with low pressure systems that ultimately rise this up to an extremely high level, and then clouds are formed. So unless you're telling me they're controlling hundreds of thousands of miles of seawater and can control the mix and the temperature, right, then guess, you know what? Then we're all fucked. Then we're all dead anyway. Because they have power that is now godlike. They are Jesus, and we're all dead. So we might as well quit. Let's unplug. Folks, thanks for watching the Donut and Friendly Show. We'll see you guys on Monday. No, we're not going to do that. Wrong screen. It was supposed to be this. Damn it.
Oh.
All right. And Melanie, don't get mad at me. I'm just kidding with you. I love you. You know that. Here, listen.
And we want to be there for them. We've already had
combined
50,000.
Amy Stamcombe. I already know it's going to be funny. Combine HARP and CERN. What do you get? A bunch of tinfoil hats freaking out. Yeah. HARP. Just do me a favor. Type in HAARP and Remo Williams' adventure begins. And you're going to laugh your ass off.
I got that application in the letter the other day after I turned 50.
I get the AARP. I understand. But mine was better. Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins. And look at the system that they have to go ahead and steal the plans for. It's HARP, okay? You guys, I understand you want to believe all these things because it's harder than the truth. But hurricanes, they happen, okay? Hurricanes' lives matter. Olivia, they said 6 million and 50... What did they say?
50,000 requests.
So 50,000 requests at 6 million. How much is it?
120,000.
Okay. Divided by 50.
A piece.
120.
$120, Leroy.
Oh.
Let me let that wash over you once again. Olivia, please explain the math to the people who believe that cloud seeding creates hurricanes.
So
I love you, Melanie.
million, and divide 50,000 into that, and you get 120.
Yep.
$120. Wow. Thanks so much. So when they're saying, by the way, that the misappropriation of funds that I talked to you about FEMA, you remember, told you that FEMA confiscates these donations. They say, no. They just organize where they go. No, they confiscate them. And they decide where they're distributed. If it wasn't true, then explain to me why Congress just went ahead and filed a disclosure and an inquisitive formal document into numerous reports of FEMA seizing funds, not allowing people to go in and search, and essentially stopping local search groups and law enforcement from doing their jobs at the state level.
That's what I've heard. And they're not letting, and they're taking all the donations that have already been given in and not allowing anyone else to handle donations.
I want to give Benny Johnson credit. He was the first. See, I don't try to steal shit from people. It's not my thing. Benny Johnson posted this first, and I got it from him. So I'm going to go ahead and give credit where credit's due. Okay?
Christ, I know why my math was wrong. I only figured it for 2 people.
Because you're in the Navy.
Apollo 13, man.
No, I know exactly what you were doing, and you're in the Navy. That too. I want to show a video. Now, this was from earlier today. Olivia?
Yes.
I was accused by Sasha Pushkins. Every time I hear his name, it's like Sasha pushes it in. Sasha is a putz. Sasha's the guy that trolls me. He's the Russian douche plow who won't come on and face me, but he just constantly just like. So he came on today and he found this one
was
video.
That the guy that wanted to fight you?
Oh no, that was some other dipshit. They're all nuts. So this guy, he came on. He always wants to fact check, and I've just like slapped him around. Well, he called everyone maggots, so I banned him. You don't call people MAGA tees on my fucking you get one warning. You do it again, you get banned. That's why he got banned. But he made a post on this video, and he said this is a viral meme that's been going around, and you stole it from people and made a video. Okay, let's watch it.
Come on, man.
Good morning, everyone. Matthew Spear from the Don't Unfriend Me Show. And as I sit here drinking my coffee, I couldn't help but think about the time in Hurricane Harvey that my family and I went through, one of the most difficult times of our lives. And our hearts are with everyone who's going through the hurricane and the aftermath. The things that we needed, and are pretty simple: a gas car, a gas stove, gas hot water heater, a gas chainsaw, a gas generator, and cash was pretty much it. And after reflection, I'm pretty confident the things that the people who are suffering today don't need, well, an electric car, an electric appliance, debit cards, the city bus, the government, diversity, and their tax dollars going to Ukraine. Just a little perspective on this fine morning. Liv.
He said that's a viral.
Anything that I did not say that was truthful about Hurricane Harvey and the photograph?
No, that's very 100% true. That was right down the street. I've got that video.
Okay. The ending about perspective in the morning or thinking about Hurricane Harvey, would that be accurate?
Yes.
And I will say that the inner part about the gas and electric, I 100% stole that shit from a post. Go fuck yourself. Who cares? It's not accredited. It's not copyrighted. It's not taxed. There's nothing about it that is, it's an idea that somebody says. And that's why I said I was contemplating and thinking about it. Let me ask you a question. Here's what it comes down to. When you share a meme, are you stealing people's content?
No.
If you erase their watermark on the meme, are you then stealing people's content?
Yeah.
Yes. That conversation isn't from this hurricane. That comment was back in Hurricane Harvey where somebody said that. People use things. They use events. They use ideas. You're not plagiarizing. So to say that I saw that on Twitter today and then decided to make a video, no. I saw that on Facebook in like 2017 and decided to talk about it today and added 3 things on top of it to make it relevant today. So is that stealing? No. Is that plagiarizing? No. Do I need to source credit that? No, because that has been shared 1,000 fucking times a day on all social media. Here's another example. When somebody goes ahead and they have a joke, and then they go ahead and remake that joke on Facebook, do they need to give Dane Cook every single penny for what they said?
No.
No, but if they go up on stage and they steal the material and go ahead and represent it and make money off of it without giving credit, that's a different situation.
Well, here's something else. What about all the memes that have the pictures, like the cat sitting at the dinner table and the two women on the side? I think it was like one of the Desperate Housewives.
Right.
Whatever.
That
and they
right.
were like freaking yelling at the cat.
You're yelling at each other.
Everyone uses that. Or the little girl that, I mean, there's so many of the little kids that have a funny face or whatever. And that picture is put in memes everywhere.
And
does that family get any money for those memes? No.
And here's the thing is that it wasn't a video. Nobody's done that video. You can't find a video that did that in that setting, in that tone, with those stories. Listen, it's like me going ahead and saying, okay, because I have the pictures of the satellite imagery that took place, that I didn't take those pictures, so I can't use that picture. Therefore, I have to give credit to every single photograph that bullshit.
No, that's not how it works.
You don't understand something. Creativity is not necessarily word for word reading something, because I've got 8,000 hours of content, hundreds of thousands of words that you can go ahead and copyright check. And if you find that, good luck. Let me know.
Well,
but hold on a second. But because there's some similarities, because anyone who's been in a hurricane knows that electric doesn't work. Olivia and I learned that lesson. Just because someone has a thought or uses words in a certain way doesn't mean they own that for the rest of their lives. Folks, it's a 1-minute reel that we make no money off of. Zero. Relax. Go ahead, Liv.
So here's the other thing. If this, according to this Sasha Push It In or whatever the hell his name is he saying that this is a meme that's gone viral on Facebook?
No, he's saying all you are is a maggot who stole somebody else's idea and regurgitate it because you are uninventive, you're not unique, and all you do is regurgitate the same opinion. That's what they said.
Got it. Well, I was going to say, considering that Facebook took away Rights Manager anyway, so it doesn't really fucking matter if you took it from somebody else or not.
But see, there's a big difference between what Benny did and what I did. I remember a meme from 2017 that whether it said exactly that or some of that, because I know it didn't say exactly that because Ukraine wasn't going on in 2017. I also know it didn't talk about gas generators. I also know it didn't, whatever, little minor changes. It doesn't matter. Anyone who's been through a hurricane knows that all electric shit don't work, and that's the point. So when they talk about electric cars and debit cards and city buses running on freaking electric shit, anyone who's been through any hurricane knows that a gas generator, that a gas stove, that a gas water heater, that a gas car is all preferred over electric. This isn't a secret, okay? So remember, when I accuse Benny of stealing shit, it's because he takes the watermark or takes the stamp symbol of somebody's page and erases it and takes credit for the creation of it. That is very different than somebody has very similar words and then uses that to create a video and then say, you stole everything. No, because there's a story about Harvey, which is 100% true. Photographs of Harvey that are 100% true. There's alterations to the statement that are absolutely true. And it's in video format, which means I took the time to record it, cut it, lay it out, audio process, and give it to you. Give me a fucking break. Every time you say a word doesn't mean that you own it. Otherwise, there isn't such thing as copyright. Go ahead.
I think every liberal who wants gas cars to be eliminated and just EV and just electric needs to look at this. Like, how many millions of people are without power right now? That means any of those people that only have electric vehicles are shit out of luck to do anything.
And they better not post anything about it because that's copyright infringement.
So, I mean, what's going to happen when the big earthquake hits California? Because that's where all the EV cars are. What's going to happen?
Right.
There's no one can charge their shit. So I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Go ahead, Leroy.
Two quick points that I want to make on any collegiate level paper that anyone would write. Anybody who's a 4-year graduate, when you write a paper, if you need to refer to something, you would use that as a resource that was cited or quoted, right? And you have to put that in the text of the document. You have to say, these are the sources that I quoted from, that I pulled from. Better still, in the Intel community, you have to do the same thing. And they actually, I will take it so far as to say that they encourage that. So if I needed to steal something from another document, right? They want me to do that because that means I have more research or more time to devote to my own research, and just pull something from an already peer-reviewed article. What Olivia was talking about with the cars, the electric cars versus the gas cars. I always look at it this way, and it has never failed me. When the government tells you that they want you to have electric cars, what they really mean is that they don't trust you with gas cars. They don't trust you with gas appliances. They don't think that you should have a propane tank because they don't trust you with it.
That's right.
That's what it means. That's what it means.
Karen has said, can all the dummies please say some prayers for my friend Matt K? He had a heart transplant last Friday and it isn't going well. He's only 45 years old. Karen, absolutely. I don't have anyone to lead prayer on this. Myself, Olivia, and Leroy are not prolific at it. Amy's not here, but I promise you this, that I will say a prayer and take a moment myself after the show, and I know Olivia will and Leroy will, and we will pray in our own way, and we ask all the dummies to do so too, please. I'm just not very good at it, but it doesn't mean I can't have a solo conversation and pray. In fact, we'll just take a few seconds and everyone can do that real quick. Thank you, everybody, for doing that. Vivek Ramaswamy, somebody who I have had issue with. There's things that I don't love about Vivek. I don't like anybody who falsifies reports and hires their mom to go ahead and increase the stock prices. I don't like people who trounce Donald Trump in a book and then a year later is his best friend. I think it's important that when you say something, you stand behind it. You can change your mind, but you better have the reasons as to why you changed your mind, not just because it's convenient. Outside of that, Vivek has done an extremely good job lately since he's gotten off the president's stage of having very strong debate skills, very affable. He's been very kind to people and telling them to go after themselves without saying those words. He does it here to John Bolton, who is one of the biggest pieces of shit ever in politics. I can't stand John Bolton. I think he is a warmongering asshole. And here is Vivek with John Bolton. It's very interesting. Thanks for talking. Listen, some people are like, well, that guy was just trolling you, Matt. Yeah, he was trolling me, but listen, you're going to question my integrity. I'm just going to tell you, you can't cancel me. It's impossible. Because I have already released my big dark secrets. The skeletons in my closet, I've already talked about. The things that I'm ashamed of, I don't hide behind. I embrace them. And if I am sourced and I create something that I heard of in 2017, I am going to tell you where my inspiration came from. But I've also got 8,000 some odd hours of video and live shows and content that you can watch. And if you think I need to steal content in order to produce content, then you've never watched my show. Because nobody does the shit that we do. There isn't a show out there. Maybe PBD does some of the stuff we do, but we don't expose stuff and break stuff like breaking news. What we do is we break it down and show you why it's not true. And there's not a lot of people who do that. So we offer something that other people don't. Here is Vivek Ramaswamy, or what my wife calls Baklava Shwarmy, and John Bolton.
Well, now I'm hungry.
And as to whether there's a deep state, they're not smart enough to be a deep state. If there were a deep state, we wouldn't be here having this debate, I can tell you. There are a lot of good people out there trying to do the right thing, but the idea that we're run by a deep state is deeply paranoid.
So I respectfully disagree with that, actually. We use terms like America first. I'll define it for you. Because sometimes we are lazy, we bandy it around, we don't say what it means. Here's what it means. Two things. One is the people we elect to run the government are the ones who actually run the government. And number two is those leaders owe their sole moral duty to the citizens of this country and not another one. That's what it means to stand for America First principles. Let's start with number one. Today, the people who set most public policy are not the ones who were ever elected to run the government. In fact, there are 4 million people in the federal bureaucracy, including, I'm sorry to say, in the national security establishment, who are not only never elected to their positions, but actually, according to the supposed interpretation of civil service rules, cannot even be fired by the people who were elected to those positions. That's not actually a democracy. That is a new type of modern technocracy that would make our founding fathers, including those you quoted at the start, roll over in their graves that they never imagined. So I do think that a root cause of many of our foreign policy failures is also the same root cause as many of our domestic policy failures, including the rise of the welfare and the regulatory state. It is that the people we elect to run the government aren't the ones actually running the government. And I do think that the warfare state is upstream of the welfare state. When you invade the rest of the world, you effectively invite them. That's exactly what's happening to Europe, and it's deeply linked to our own border crisis in this country.
Right.
So the question is, how do we best...
It's very interesting when you hear the word technocratic form of government. It very much puts it into perspective. And I don't think he's saying technocratic from an innovation standpoint of technology. I mean, by technocratic is a technicality, is what he's saying. Mm-hmm. That it's a technicality that leadership is passed and usurped from the people, from our elected officials, and given to government agencies that are not elected. So it would be more of a technicality government, a government that runs its entire processes off of a technicality that these people can put these others in charge without overall the electorate making that choice. I think that's what he's trying to say versus a technological style of government. Go ahead, Leroy.
It was curious because on one hand, the first messaging that I got was that there is no deep state. And anybody who thinks that is a conspiratorial, somebody who sits around with a tinfoil hat.
Right.
And I'm just going to point this out. Then the very next speech by Vivek, the country is run by a group of people who were not elected. That almost kind of sounds like you're contradicting the first speaker, does it not? I'm just pointing that out.
Well, he was contradicting. I don't understand what you mean. Of course he was. He said hold on. Vivek said, I essentially take umbrage with that, and I disagree respectfully. So why are you surprised that he disagreed? I don't understand.
Yeah, maybe I missed the first part of it. Sorry.
Got it. Okay. No. Don't worry about it. Listen, that's why we do this, right? I mean, God, dude, we cover a lot of stuff, but
yeah.
In my opinion, I happen to agree with Vivek about this, is that a deep state does not need to be somebody who's working counterproductively from the current administration. It means that somebody is working behind the scenes, not to work for the people. That's, in my opinion, the difference. And that is very feasible. Somebody working against the current administration, I don't necessarily believe. But I believe that there are people who are working that contradict what the American people would approve and unapprove of. For example, what the DOJ going after Donald Trump, I don't think the American people support this. I don't believe they support the weaponization of the government against its citizens. I just don't think so. That is working counterproductively from what the best interests of the people are. And I think that's what Vivek was trying to communicate.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. I would also say, I mean, I can see both sides there, right? Because Matt and I have said this on the show hundreds of times, that if there were any sort of deep level conspiratorial, plots within the government, that somehow, I mean, our government is the worst at keeping secrets. So if something like that was really happening, right, you would know. You would absolutely know.
Oh, yeah.
Now, to that end, I understand what Vivek is saying is that, it doesn't necessarily need to be a conspiracy per se, but that there are people working in the background that are pulling levers in the government that you didn't elect. That I can also get behind, and I understand both sides.
And more importantly, just to expand, that there are people working in direct opposition to the Constitution of the United States. That's a very, like that statement right there. If that's what you mean by deep state, then yes, I am 100. There are people who are working outside the confines of the Constitution of the United States in our government. That is what I consider a deep state. They're working at the behest of their own fortune and not that of the American people. And remember what he said, America first. So what he's saying is that when I say a deep state, in fact, I know that's what he's saying now. If he was sitting right here with me, I guarantee he'd be like, you got it. Because he does that. He'll just be like, yes, you got it. That's right. I guarantee he would say that because he did specify when he said, this is what America first means to me, is putting the American people first. They are always the filter. The individual rights are always forefront. It is never a backdoor situation. Like what Lindsey Graham just did. Perfect example of deep state. Talking about South Carolina, talking about the people he represents, and then switching to Israel and saying we need to give them more bombs and more ammunition. That is a perfect example of what deep state does. Okay? That's my point. Liv, we got a Lincoln Project video, baby.
Oh, yay.
I know, she loves it. We should make this
I love
your...
that band.
You need to make an intro for it or something.
Yeah, we need to do an Olivia, brings the latest Lincoln Project video, Where did you learn to take these drugs? I did it from watching you, Dad. I did it from watching you. That, I think that's what happened. The people who used to make those Dare commercials became the Lincoln Project.
Probably.
Here you go.
Got it.
You've heard Donald Trump say he'll arrest and deport millions.
On day one, I will terminate every open border policy of the Biden administration, and we will begin the largest domestic deportation operation in American history.
But have you heard who else he wants to arrest? It might be you, if you've disagreed with the Supreme Court.
These people should be put in jail the way they talk about our judges and our justices.
The former president has ramped up his threats to jail political opponents if he wins the election.
If they go down and indict them, they'd be out of the election.
Trump threatens anyone who holds him accountable with arrest and imprisonment. When a nut writes, Elizabeth Cheney is guilty of treason and calls for televised military tribunals, Trump sends it out to millions of his followers. How many times did he rant?
They should lock her up. Lock him up. Yeah, lock him up.
Donald Trump is a convicted felon awaiting trial for other felonies. He's an angry and desperate man who cares nothing about the Constitution or rule of law. It's not about Republican or Democrat. It's about protecting our country, our heritage, our future, America, or Trump.
God.
I mean, how fucking...
How desperate is that commercial? Holy
And the best active screenplay goes to The Lincoln Project.
I'd like to thank the Academy. Right.
Dude, could you, next I want to see, and he's going to give you herpes. Come on, dude.
The
Seriously.
only way they could have done any better with that is if they had gotten the guy that did the preview, the guy that did the voiceover for all of the previews in the mid-90s. One world.
One man, one desire.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is Little Tortilla Boy. Get down! Get down again!
President on a rampage. Yeah.
More action. Get down! Even more action. Get down again!
Get to the chopper. Get
Arnold
to the White
Schwarzenegger
House.
is Little Tortilla Boy.
Whatever.
Dude, you can stop talking about my tortillas.
I can see the commercial for that. Bum, bum. Good job, Chad. Thanks a lot. Being a male dancer's hard, especially when you gotta shave your huevos. That's why I use Huevo Splash. Huevo Splash, you sexy mother.
Pablo Francisco, if you have...
I will
Go ahead.
give Lincoln Project credit in that it's a wonderful kind of ruse, right? When you think about Abraham Lincoln, the first Republican president, right? You would think, okay, this is somebody with a certain set of ideals, a certain set of principles. Oh, and by the way, he's a Republican now, kind of denouncing a former president and now Republican. So it's a way to kind of work in this optic that says that it's almost in some way like unbiased enough to say, all right, my parents or my grandparents could have said this exact thing. But it's obviously like this far left-leaning opinion journal now. So
The founder touched little boys, dude. He's listen, this isn't a joke. The co-founder was sending illicit dick pics to children and was asking for sexual texts between. He's ousted from the company. And then the head pasty white motherfucker, I don't even know his name because he just makes me want to throw up. He looks like a thumb. This guy has been accused of misappropriating funds as a 501c3 charitable contribution and taking money overseas from foreign actors. I mean, these fucking people, he's the one that put the tiki torches, dude. Do you remember I covered this in Glenn Youngkin's governor's bus? He paid white nationalists to dress up with tiki torches and place them and stage them and sent out photographs. And then after he was caught, was like, oh, it was just a joke. It was a prank. No, he was trying to say that white supremacists in Virginia were supporting Glenn Youngkin. Same fucking guy. Sorry, douche plow.
Super creepy.
Just like weird, you know? And here's the thing, is that the one thing I know is Intel guys hang with Intel guys, you know? D girls hang out with D girls. Rich people hang out with rich people. Whatever it is. Moms talk to moms. Well, pedos talk to pedos. And I'm sorry, I don't have any proof, but if this guy had a partner and a friend who was with him for decades and he fucking liked to diddle little kids, pretty safe to assume that his butt buddy likes to diddle little kids too. Just saying, okay? Melania Trump came out with a commercial. We're almost done. It's Friday night. We're busy. We're hopping. Okay, we're a little bit over the... Yeah.
I was going to ask if you had also heard of the headline that just got popped yesterday that suggested that in Kamala Harris's husband's past, he had been busted for beating up his ex-wife, was it? Like, apparently hit her hard.
I'm holding it because my understanding is that something's going to drop on Monday.
Okay.
So I'm holding it. And I'm not going to talk about it, but there is an October surprise, multiple. I've heard there's one for Walz, and this is the one against Kamala, and this is all coming out. Yeah, and it's not going to be good. I think they want the no. No, please bring it up because I just sometimes wait. Here's folks, real quick, thedumbshow.com/donate. We have hit our goal tonight. We're $68.47 over our goal. That means that we have hit it 4 nights in a row. Thank you so much. However, it's never enough. We ask for the bare minimum just to get our shows paid for, to pay for the broadband, pay for the lights, to pay for the streaming services, all the things that we use to make this great program for you. And it's not cheap. It's not inexpensive. Anyone who creates a podcast knows anything that you can do. It's Friday. If you're in a situation where you're doing okay, life's good, you've donated some money to the hurricane victims, you've given it to veterans, you've looked at Christmas and it all looks like it's going to be a great Christmas, and you're like, hey, I want to give some money to the Donut and Friendly Show. Whether this is the first night watching or you've watched 1,000 times before, we would appreciate it if you would go to thedumbshow.com/donate. And it doesn't matter whether it's $1. If everyone gave $1, it'd be an amazing evening. If everyone gave $5, it'd be an incredible evening. Whatever you can do, we would appreciate. Don't think it's too little. Whether it's $1, $10, or $100, or $1,000, we've received all of them before, and we're thankful for everything. If you can't do that, like, share, and follow the page. We got 220 people on, plus Wimkin, plus Rumble. We probably got 400 people watching right now if we put them all together. That's freaking awesome. So thanks for helping us out. We love you. We're not done yet.
I got, there's a question.
Go.
Kevin's wondering if you and Leroy have received training to stop you from rolling your eyes when you're reporting up in the intelligence world? I think it's kind of a funny question. No, you just have to do it.
I've not received that training. It is on the PQS. There's supposed to be a sign off. There's like an 8-hour PowerPoint that goes along with that, and I haven't attended it, and I refuse to.
Now, when you are working counterintelligence or interrogation or anything like that, your facial features are extremely important, and your reaction to information you're getting in real time is important. But that's when you're working with human intelligence. So unless you're specifically working with that, and in a briefing, you get that in A school. They tell you to, if you're receiving feedback, to be stoic, to put your arms on your side, to, not tap the podium, to not shake, to not bounce back and forth. Little things. They give you mannerisms, but specific training on not rolling your eyes, no. There's a way.
I had a scenario that I went through, and this is not that long ago. This was less than a year. It was about a year ago. And it was a simulated hostage type thing, except that I was the hostage. And it was not unlike, it was like a condensed 3-hour SEER school kind of thing, except minus the forest. And so cold showers, blind, whole.
Sorry, hold on. Sorry, go ahead.
The full meal deal, right? They bind you, they put goggles on you kind of deal. And then they try and get information out of you. And they see how long it's going to take. And I was just like, not good at that game. I was so not good at it because I can distinctly remember just leaning over and going, fuck you. And that only made things worse from there. Like, they just stuck me into the cold showers for like the remainder of the time. It was terrible. I would not be a good prisoner because I have just too much of a mouth.
1 second.
Within the vein of that, though, there is a code of conduct that you're supposed to go by in case, something like that should happen. And I just totally threw that shit out the window. I don't know why.
Well, there are some things that you have to, that's what I'm talking about. But you don't argue with a superior officer.
Right.
You don't have interagency arguments and disputes when you're briefing. Those things can happen, but you don't. I mean, there's just a decorum. You don't, when you're spinning out of control or you don't know something, the simple thing is, I don't know. Right. Sir, I don't have that information. However, I will get back to you as soon as humanly possible. It's standard answer. It's your get out of jail. It's your get out of jail free card. Sir or ma'am, I do not have the information that you request right now. However, I will get back to you as soon as humanly possible. That's it. I don't know. There's a guy on YouTube I'm fighting right now, and he's like, Sam Elliott didn't do that frickin' commercial for Lincoln Project. And actually, all you got to do is just go to the FEC.com and look at the filing from Lincoln Project, because they have to disclose that because it's paid a campaign commercial, and they paid Sam Elliott that fucking money. Don't be an idiot. These people, dude. When have men become such? I'm sorry, I'm going to say a bad word for all my 200 and when do we become cunts?
I don't know,
men. Can you reach between your legs and grab your fucking balls and realize I am a testosterone-driven, man-sacking, knuckle-dragging, Cro-Magnum forehead mother effer and just be a man? When did we become these giant pussies?
I don't know.
It's on the left and the right. I mean, seriously, drink some fucking whiskey, go out and shoot a gun, and go beat something up. Seriously, be a man. But, dude, these effeminate males just make me sick. Oh, Sam Elliott, it's artificial intelligence. Sam Elliott didn't do it. It's on the fucking webpage on Lincoln Project that says, Sam Elliott, thank you for blah, 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 blah. It's an FEC filing. He's accredited with the fucking contents. Do you think that the Lincoln Project is going to open themselves up to lawsuit by using AI and then name the actor? What are you, fucking stupid? Sorry. Be a man. Get laid. Don't change your underwear for a day. Put your hand down your pants when you're watching football. Grab an entire fucking chicken bone at Hooters and do it like that. Don't eat it like, oh, can I have a knife and a fork and a napkin? Oh my God. I don't want to get that hot sauce under my fingernails, Betty. You effeminate pussies.
Betty. That was my nickname on the ship for 4 years.
I bet it was.
Because you know my last name, that's why.
Yeah. I thank you. Here we go. Let's go.
My
Liv, this is for you. Sorry, I just get frustrated. It just men should be men. There's nothing wrong with being a man. Be a man. Stop being a whiny little bitch. Okay? Let women be women. Let men be men. We can say dumb stuff and then we can apologize. We can yell and get frustrated. Nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. My wife is the voice of reason in our house. I'm not the one that goes, oh my God, well, maybe we should just be more sensitive to our son. Maybe we should just like hold him more. That's not my job. My job is to grab him and throw him against the wall. Get up. Toughen him up. He doesn't use the punch.
I heard that the other day. I almost pissed myself. Somebody was talking about their kids and somebody else dropped in the casual conversation FDK. I'm like, what does that mean? And apparently it's like a major thing. I'm old. I wasn't tracking it. I didn't know. And apparently it stands for fuck them kids.
Yeah, no, my dad used to do. I was telling my kids, you know what I would do? I'd come home and I'd be like, Mom, Dad, I want to show you my new art project. It's fantastic. And it'd be a house of macaroni, right? And my dad would look at it and he goes, what is this? I'm like, it's a house of macaroni. Why? Well, Dad, I made it in class. Why? Well, because it's a house of macaroni. Don't leave it out. We'll get rats.
Right.
But I would accomplish something amazing and my dad would celebrate it. Like he would appreciate it. But he didn't go, great job on this house of macaroni, Maddie. You know what he said? I'm going to go and teach you how to build one out of wood. One that's going to last. And we would go and work on a project and build a wooden house. And he goes, now, that's something you're proud of, not a house of macaroni. My dad was just, that's the way, that was my dad. So my daughter comes in and she goes, Dad, what do you think of my hair? I'm like, you look like a dilapidated French poodle. You have too much protege in it and your hair is way too curly. And she's like, oh my God, why would you say that? I'm like, because you asked me and it's the truth. So she comes in, she goes, you could have been nicer. I'm like, so you want me to lie? She's
Right.
like, no, you could have said it in a better way. Tell me.
What do you
Tell me.
teach him at that point?
Right. So I'm like, did you remember the 30 minutes before that when I called your mom down and called your brother down and said how beautiful you were? And said when you had your hair all wavy, and I was like, my God, she looks amazing. And even Ethan's like, you look so much better with that hair. And there's a way to like coddle your kids to set their expectations for failure. And then there's a way just to be really honest with them. You know what she said to me? It just hurt. And I wish you wouldn't be so honest sometimes. And I said, that's something I can understand. Stop asking my opinion on the things you really care about. Because you already know the answer and you already are doubting yourself, but you want to confirm your bias. And she's like, why do you always have to be a podcast host? I'm like, this is just who I am. What do you want from me? Love my kids. I give them all the support. But when they accomplish something real, when they accomplish something amazing, that's when you give them, because have you ever read The 1 Minute Manager, Leroy?
Yeah.
Greatest book
Been a
ever.
little bit.
And essentially the 1 Minute Manager, if you haven't read it, it's like a 91-page monkey book. It's literally, you can read it in one bathroom sitting. And essentially what it says is, if you're a leader, give somebody praise one time, get them hooked to the praise, and give them really high quality, positive and negative specific feedback, and help them get addicted to that feeling, and then never give it to them again. Because they will continue to show and demonstrate the behavior so it reoccurs, but they will learn to recognize their successes without having to get confirmation from somebody else, which isn't true confidence, which isn't true self-esteem. So you know what I love when my son walks in, he goes, Dad, I did something really important today. And I'm like, what did you do? And then he tells me. Or my daughter comes home and goes, Dad, guess what? I did something really cool and I am so proud of myself. And now I listen. So that's the way I work with my kids. All right. Liv, did you want to?
There was a comment when you were talking about your balls.
Oh, They're shaved.
Yeah, so that wasn't it.
Perfectly shorn.
Yeah, Frederick Baldwin said his comment of the night. I'm getting old. My balls need plexiderm.
What's plexiderm? Is that like a collagen injection or something?
I don't know what it is. But
What
it's
is
freaking
plexiderm?
funny. I don't know.
Is it like a new breakfast cereal? Plexiderm. When you're plugged up, try plexiderm.
It sounds like hair replacement therapy. I don't know.
Somebody find out.
I'm looking.
Listen. I'm going to say you need to shave, boys. Seriously, you need to shave the twig and berries. It's just polite. Nobody wants a Jewish dick fro.
It reduces visible under eye bags and wrinkles.
That's funny. You know what I usually
take care of the wrinkles on that elbow bag. Yeah, I got it.
It tightens up your skin. All right, listen. Last video, and then we're gonna go, folks. I don't know if we had any more donations, but we appreciate everybody for doing what they've done tonight. Here we go. This is Melania Trump, and I want you guys to listen to this and tell me what you think.
Individual freedom is a fundamental.
Okay, Melania, hold on. You take that sexy accent and hold on a sec.
As a father,
okay, JD, shut
of
up.
3 beautiful little kids, and our oldest is now in second.
Principle that I safeguard. Without a doubt, there is no room for.
I really am starting to hate Twitter. They have got to work on Twitter on desktop. Okay, Melania Trump put out this video. And what's that? Was that Halloween noise? Did you
Maybe
just hear?
they got out one of the Halloween decorations.
You guys got some Halloween stuff out. What are you doing? What does he have? Bring it here. Dude, did he get the toilet guy?
What'd you get?
Individual freedom is a fundamental.
Hold on, I can't hear you. Hold on.
That I safeguard.
What?
Without.
I don't want a long story. What is it? Wait,
It sounded like
hold on. You got an iPad, intercepted your sister's phone call, and started playing a bunch of noises to irritate her friends?
No, it wasn't irritating.
That's classic.
Ethan, did you play a bunch of irritating noises?
No, it was the 2 calls intercepting each other.
Oh, so you got
Get that kid a
biofeedback.
job at the NSA.
You're hired, by the way. I think it's fantastic. Do it more often. You're good. Thanks, buddy. All right, bye. So he got feedback.
Job at NSA.
He's like, he hacked her shit.
It sounds like one of our Halloween decorations that we have.
It does. It sounded like like the one that screams outside and is like,
Yeah, where it pops up.
yeah, the spider.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Let's watch this. The last video of the night, then we're going to go. It's nice to see so many people on. Remember, folks, we are on tomorrow by 5 o'clock on the Donald Trump rally.
Individual freedom is a fundamental principle that I safeguard. Without a doubt, there is no room for compromise when it comes to this essential right that all women possess from birth: individual freedom. What does my body, my choice really mean?
All right. So that video was Melania Trump coming out and essentially saying that abortion is her choice. That's all intents and purposes what she was saying. I'm going to show you Donald Trump's reaction. Now, Eric Erickson, I don't know what's wrong with Eric Erickson. Seriously,
about
he is just like,
championing abortion rights and reproductive.
he is melting down.
What's your reaction?
And I just can't wait for Trump to win the presidency and then get the hell out of politics so people can go back to normal. I mean, it's just, God, the discourse in this country is just dog shit. And smart people like Eric Erickson are just, God, just turning into bitches. But anyway, here's Donald Trump's reaction to it. And I love that. Here's another one where you got to say he knocks it out of the park.
What's your reaction to Melania's memoir about championing abortion rights and reproductive freedom? When you read it, what were your thoughts?
We spoke about it, and I said, you have to write what you believe. I'm not going to tell you what to do. You have to write what you believe. She's very beloved. People love our former First Lady, I can tell you that. But I said, you have to stick with your heart. I've said that to everybody. You have to go with your heart. There are some people that are very, very far right on the issue, meaning without exceptions. And then there are other people that view it a little bit differently than that.
Kamala Harris is out on the. What's your reaction to?
Liv, what do you think?
I think it's great. I think it goes against the narrative that we only vote for Donald Trump because our husbands tell us to, and that he's controlling. So
Don't ever contradict me on this show ever.
I know. I'm
again.
sorry.
Ever.
I'm sorry, sir. Would you like your pot pie now?
Yeah, I would. I like it. I like double. I like a beer too. Leroy, what do you think? I mean,
Shot of whiskey.
It's a shot.
Double whiskey.
You know what?
May
It's
I
all
have
right.
a Coke?
It's our anniversary. Get her a Pepsi. So, Leroy,
With
what
ice.
do you think?
With ice.
What do you? What do you think of that? Because I honestly, do you really think a Democrat like that Jack Me Off, Kamala's husband is going to come out and be like, I think my wife, I disagree with her. I think Jews are great friends of America and we need to support them. So is it refreshing to see a first lady who kind of goes?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And I'll tell you what I really liked is that it almost shows that even amongst the highest, the president, a former president, and the former first lady, that there can be disagreements in the household and still be peaceful about it. And still just say, all right, well, look, maybe we disagree on this point, and that's okay. We can have those kinds of talks and go our separate ways. But at the end of the day, we're still going back to the same bed. At the end of the day, we're still going back to the same dinner table, and we just move on from there. Things don't have to get so heated, especially when you're talking about your relatives, your neighbors, people. So for whatever reason, I think a lot of people want to have some of these conversations so that they can try and convince someone that their opinion is the right one. And at some point, we just got to back off of that, talking people blue in the face, trying to get them to accept your way of thinking and just let it go. I liked it. I thought it was a great commercial.
Can't hold it back anymore. Let it go. Let it go.
Let it go.
So, Leroy, you don't have girls, so let's see if you can get this joke. Why can't you give Elsa a balloon?
Oh, there's got to be something about blowing it up.
No, that'd be Kamala Harris. That'd be Kamala Harris.
Because she'll let it go. You haven't seen Frozen. You don't have girls.
No.
How do you?
I don't know.
How do you make a Kleenex dance?
How?
Put a little boogie in it.
Nice. I should have gotten that one.
Dead jokes. Folks, thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me Show. By the way, Leroy has something to show you. The Documents of Freedom, which, look at that talent. Look at that talent. Long arm of the law. Documents of Freedom still available, made out of wood, 100% made in the USA. Even the books, these are actually from the Smithsonian. And they are the books that are officially in Washington, D.C. By Applewood Books. You have the documents, the Declaration of Independence, you have the Bill of Rights, and you also have the Constitution of the United States, all available here in a small leather-bound book. We sell these at thedumshow.com. We've sold now over 200 of them. We are ordering for Christmas, actually November, but once we hit November, man, you guys got to get these in before Christmas, because if they're going for Christmas presents, I would recommend now. So if you haven't had a chance to order it. It's on our site. Also, For Which It Stands is back in stock. I am getting my order for Which It Stands. Should be here hopefully Monday. It's taken a while, but we know your orders are there. I know who ordered it. We got your back, Amy, and we'll have it sent out shortly. Also, we've got coffee.
Coffee? Dotson. We've got Dotson here.
We said nobody cares. Nope. We have coffee. Now, this is made by Matt Hawley, and he is in Wisconsin. We have now sold 69 bags. Wish it was 68, and I'd owe you one. 69 bags, and that's amazing. So we need to get off that number as fast as possible. And if you want to understand, this is the most amazing stuff. It is French press. You can put it in there. It'll keep you up all day. If you are looking for a 1 pound bag of coffee that lasts at least 2 weeks, this stuff's amazing. I'm telling you, once you open up, you'll know. It is fresh roasted right before they send it. It is the best shiznit on the market. I'll take it any day of the week. I drink it every single day in my cup of coffee. Thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me show. Folks, Leroy, thanks for being here. It was great to have you here tonight.
Oh, it's a pleasure. And I always enjoy coming here. Between you, Olivia, and Amy, this is the best place to be on a Friday night.
And Twitter, we see you. 154 people on Twitter. We're watching you. And we are very excited to have you here. Please, 7 o'clock Eastern. We're here Monday through Friday. Tomorrow, we will be covering the Butler, PA rally for Donald Trump as a little extra bonus, just to say thank you. It'll be a longer show. We can't wait to see you. God bless and thanks. Liv, did you have anything you wanted to say?
Thanks, everyone, for donating. Appreciate it. Next week, just so everyone knows, because everyone thinks whenever I'm not on the show, I'm not feeling good or I'm depressed or something.
Or sleeping with that other guy.
Yes, exactly.
Or
my
you're-
boyfriend.
or you're in the
Get
kitchen.
it right. It's
Or-
my boyfriend.
Or you're
girlfriend,
or you're in the
either
kitchen.
way. Either way.
We're
I'm-
shaving those legs, and
Yep.
trust me, that's an effort.
I will not be on Tuesday or Thursday. Ethan, you should not be on Tuesday because Ethan's has his first choir concert. So we will probably not be on Tuesday. I will not be on Thursday.
I will not. I will be here Thursday. Tuesday, I'm probably going to take it off, but I'll let you know. Either way, we're here on Saturday. See you tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern for the Donald Trump rally. We'll be covering it. His return to Butler, PA. It's going to be huge. Huge. One of a kind. Some people say the best ever.
It'll be huge.
Jenny says goodbye.
The biggest ever. Have a good night,
Huge.
folks.
Good night, everybody. God bless. See you later. Thanks, Leroy. Bye.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend
Tommy,
me.
5 o'clock tomorrow. 5 o'clock tomorrow. That's when we're going to do it all together.